I've been watching the series The House of David, and it's a really good series, a must-see series. However, like I hadn't, watched, any videos, but I have seen, headlines of videos of, people, not liking the House of David, saying that it's, there's parts that aren't, like biblical or whatever. Um, it kind of sounds like these people are going to complain about just about anything. For like for number one, it kind of sounds like they would complain about anything. But then um I started, really thinking, and they did a really good job of just filling in the blanks, right? Because that scripture only highlights the big moments, right? And so they did a good job of, you know telling the rest of the story, or coming up with what could have happened, during the between times. And I can understand how some people might even be upset about that. Um, but I don't know why people would be upset about that. Because, like, we know that life, you don't go from one big moment to the next. There's a in between. There's a big moment, and then in between time before, like, the next big moment. And so they they did a really good job of, kind of filling in the blanks of what could have, possibly happened. Now, yes, there are some things, like the what was it, the Amorite king. I can't, remember if that's actually, correct, but one of the kings from the that they, siege, or whatever. um yes, like, would that be exactly the way that it happened in scripture? No. I mean, there are some parts of that that would be true. However, that would be a part of the House of David, that, or in the series of the House of David, that would be, you know, adding that to add drama, right? And so that's just what I kind of want to say, is like, they did that to add a little bit of drama. So what? Like, it's still actually pretty biblically accurate. I mean, was he really at the feet of Saul, like Saul's feet? No, that the king wasn't necessarily at Saul's feet, and they weren't, in a celebration. So you can see where they added that for, you know, they kind of just added that in there for, you know, um, drama purposes. But at the same time, it's like, really, you're gonna get upset over that, which a lot of that really is actually, pretty biblically accurate. It's just that the celebration that took place. Um, And who's to say that there wasn't some kind of celebration of like victory, or like that may have been just a filler that they put in because they felt like, again, the Bible only tells us the important parts. That there still could have been like a celebration that happened um after that. So it remains to be seen if when David actually kills Goliath, if that is biblically accurate or not. But um, like so far, I gotta say, it really actually is pretty biblically accurate. I mean, a few things here and there, but like again, I just have to say, like, it sounds like these people would be complaining about every little detail. It's like, really? I mean, do you seriously watch Christian movies and complain about like every detail? Like, that's really stupid. Um but anyways, like, there's it even goes back to where David kills the lion, and it kind of talks about that, and in the Bible it doesn't really talk about that a whole lot. Like, there's only one part where David, and I'm going to read it here in a bit, where David is talking to Saul about how he watches the sheep and how he goes after um, lions and bears whenever they attack the sheep, and sometimes kills them. And I'm going to read that here in a little bit. But like, other than that though, it don't talk about how David killed a lion. Um and so you can see where that is almost, they kind of using that to as kind of like a filler, as a filler to kind of tell more about the what actually probably could have happened, right? So here's, I'm just going to start reading um here in 30 in First Samuel chapter 17 verse 33, and this is Saul speaking. He says, "Don't be ridiculous," Saul replied. "There's no way you can fight this Philistine and possibly win. You're only a boy, and he's been a man of war since his youth." But David presented, "I have been taking care of my father's sheep and goats," he said. "When a lion or a bear comes to steal a lamb from the flock, I go after it with a club and rescue the lamb from its mouth." That's brave. Rescue the lamb from its mouth. "If the animal turns on me, I catch it by the jaw and club it to death." Very brave. "I have done this to both lions and bears, and I will do it to this pagan Philistine too." So I will stop right there. So it sounds like what they're doing is they're taking what is what David is being said, like these um, verses, and they're kind of putting it into a story, like giving you what possibly, could have happened, right? Like um the scene where David goes after the lion, um and like, was it the first episode? I forget now. But like, he goes after the lion, um and he comes back victorious. Now, who knows whether or not that was, actually true, because the Bible doesn't really talk about it. But what they are trying to do is give you a picture of a possibility of what could have been possible. And I can definitely see, like maybe that probably could have, taken place. Um, the way that they, show David, taking down the line. So you got to think about that. Like, it actually, in all reality, it actually is pretty biblically accurate. And then there is one other thing, though, that I will say is like the first two, three, four episodes. Um, like, I will say this, that there was, while watching it, there was a part of me that was happy, like excited, but then there was, like a sense of rage. And I will say this, is like, typically, if you're, like listening to, a pastor preach, or a apostle preach, or and you're like getting mad, you're like clenching your fists, like that's a good sign that you probably have a demon. And so, like, and then I'm not saying that I would, I mean, it's maybe, like, I'm not, saying that I wouldn't have a demon, but I'm just saying, like, that's, and maybe God allowed me to feel a little bit this way for a reason, right? But that's kind of like, I didn't feel rage. I'm not saying that I felt rage towards watching the House of David, but like, I did feel somewhat of like just discomfort. It was discomfort. And so, yeah, like, I'll be honest, like I'm not afraid to admit, like, could there be a demon? Probably. You can always, those that would see this video, you can always pray for me. I'm willing to have, um you guys, like, be praying for me, right? Like, I'm not gonna, keep anybody from praying for me, because, again, like, let's look at the evidence. The evidence shows us that if you're, kind of have this rage about this speaker or pastor, yeah, there probably is a demon there. So, me kind of like feeling discomfort through the first um, four um, episodes, yeah, like, probably could have been signs that there was something inside of me that did not like watching the house of David. So there you go. Like, if there's something inside of me that doesn't like watching the house of David, like, okay, that tells me that they're they should do more biblical stories. They should do the whole entire Bible, um, with the, making series after series, like the whole entire Bible like that. Like, it tells me that there's something anointed about what they are doing. Like, if I'm, um, there's some discomfort, like, that tells me that perhaps there's something anointed. And so I think, yes, they should do the whole entire Bible, just uh different series. In fact, um I would I wouldn't be surprised if they, after these, the House of David, they continued and had like a season two of the House of David, continuing the story behind David and his reign in Israel and things like that. Because, like, you could literally do, I don't know how many seasons that you could do, but you could seriously do a lot of seasons. And then, like, you could take every story of the Bible and do a whole bunch of seasons, just like the one that they're doing. And you know so I just have to say, I hope God continues to use this team of producers and things like that to, continue telling stories of the Bible.